dangerous time of day. I know that it's 3:30 in the Arvo, quarter to 4. We're 45 minutes past the time that we're sort of suggested to not trade. So maybe I should start to be a little bit safer, and being a little bit safer. I mean, earlier in the day, we're dropping favourites with less than 42% of the pool. Most punters would call us mad, but look at the sorts of results that it produces for us when it fires, So from that point of view, yep, I totally understand what you're saying. The only reason that I didn't take it was because nobody else would have had it in their black book, and I think people would have found it a little bit unfair that I've used that little bit of extra knowledge to make that decision.
Yep, fair comment.
Thanks, Gary. All right, now I saw somebody else's hand up there. Trevor Scott, you've had your hand raised for 11 minutes, mate. Your fingers must be going numb. How are you going?
That's okay, mate. Yeah, real good. You were talking about earlier about the money that's getting dumped on the faves later in the afternoon on the tabs, and with the all-up money. Is that predominantly goes on the favourite one shooting, does it? And not, say, on any standout runner that we might
Yeah, look, it's a good question. And look, a lot of what we do, Trevor, let's be honest, a lot of what we do is based on assumptions, mate. Those assumptions, though, must be based on some prior experience that sort of leads us to make an assumption that's sort of more of a valid assumption than just a stab in the dark. And, like I look at the early markets, I do a little bit of research in the morning. I'm doing under the radar and things like that. I can tell you that Denman was the outright favourite all day. When I looked earlier this morning, it was between Husterlift, the number 3, and the number 1, and the number 1 certainly did firm up. And if we have a look, just go back and have a look at the actual prices that were on offer and things like that, even 60 minutes before the start of the race, it was always $3.50. It's been kept so safe in that market, so it was always the favourite. If it had been back into favouritism, I might have said something a little bit different. But yeah, usually you are going to see those all-up bets actually appear on something that was always fairly well going to be the favourite from earlier in the day.
Yep. No worries, mate.
That's why I always find this time of day, Trevor, a little bit more a little bit harder, mate. Because honestly, where our consistency comes from is not group races. Group races, like there's good prize money on offer, all the trainers want their prize money, they've had their horses, have a look at some of these horses that are coming out. For those that know anything about the actual horses, geez, there's some good starters getting out there now. The weather's starting to fine up and the tracks are starting to firm up a bit, and we've got these, Trusting and More Than Great and all these horses that are coming out from their spells and things like that. It's a really, really good time of year, and these sorts of group races, people want to make money. Every horse that's there pretty much wants to win. Being that every horse there wants to win, the trainers are really going to put the horses in there that they know have got the best chances. It's going to be that much harder to separate on paper, that much harder to separate for us, and any little niggle that happens in the totes, every man and his dog sitting in the pub right now with a beer in one hand, a tote ticket in the other, is going to be jumping on it as well. So then what we'll see is we'll see little niggles like this, and then all of a sudden we'll see this good, strong backup, which it's amazing. Earlier in the day, that probably would have won, right? But later in the day, those sorts of indications are a little bit more, is it a case of the blind following the blind? So from that point of view, I always sort of try and concentrate earlier in the day before the sort of, with the utmost of respect, when the mug punters get out and start having a bit of a flutter in the afternoon, and it is all just a bit of a hobby and things like that, and let's just have a go and, all those sorts of things. That's the sort of money that's about after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then combine that with the tougher fields, and it makes our job really hard as well, which is why I always say get in early and get out early.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor, and thanks, mate. No. I really appreciate our little gift.
That's okay. That's okay. No worries. Thank you.
All right. Now, anybody else have anything to add? Because I think, although today's been good, and it's been good to sort of go over things with you, I just sort of, am wondering whether it's been a completely worthwhile exercise. Have we sort of made sense today, and have I covered enough sort of territory for everybody to sort of, clear a few things up? If anybody sort of wants to chuck anything in. Oh, we've got this little chat thing down here too, which we never use. We never use. Hello, everyone. Send to all. Apparently I can't do that. Apparently I can't do that. But anyway, let's see. You have excelled yourself. Oh, good on you, mate. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Not too sure who that is. It's Glenda. Good on you, Glenda. Look, I'm glad that things have made some sense today. I'm not going to drag the chain anymore, folks. I don't have a lot more to add, I'll be honest. I know that David wants to talk auto. That's for a whole new session altogether again next time around, mate, so I appreciate the suggestion. There will be a whole training session and a whole webinar on it in the not-so-distant future. Good on you. Thanks very much, Brian. Much appreciate all your comments. If there's nothing else pressing at this stage, I think that we might just wrap it up. And next weekend, I'm going to be working towards doing another one from in the peak hours and the peak times of the day, of course. Okay. So, yep, hope it all is making some sense. I'm just going to see whether anybody else has got their hand up for any other reason. I'll be happy to answer any other questions. Keith, how are you, mate? Keith.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, I can, fella. How you going, mate?
I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, it's been great again. Just unfortunate with all that talking, we missed number 7 at Caulfield, race 7.
Oh, did we? Let's go and have a look. Anybody else want to add any comments to that? Anybody? Caulfield, race 7? Number 7. Oh, yeah, look, I mean, you know, jeez. Mate, that is really tough, that one. I'll tell you why, because, you know, like in hindsight, I can't see how that market moved. What I can tell you, though, is that I can always look back at divvies, can't I, right? And what the divvies tell me, Keith, is that was an incredibly strong indication. That was really strong. Just because we look back at it and we look back and say, oh, it's a favourite, we shouldn't have backed it because it was a favourite. What you can see when you go back and look at the dividends is that actually Anasong, the number 6, was the favourite up until, you know...
Yeah, it didn't come favourite, Kevin, until about the... just a minute before it jumped.
Yep, sure. So, you know, that Ansong was actually the favourite up to 3 minutes. Then the number 2, Fifth Avenue Lady, took over as the favourite. And then, and all the while, that number 7 was paying $8.50. You know what? That actually would have made it the 1, 2, 3. That would have actually made it about the 6th runner outside in the order of favouritism. Those prices.
Yeah.
So $8.50. So when that money's come in there, it would have been all the way down here.
That's it. Yes,
and
it was.
It's been absolutely smashed up into favouritism. And I tell you what, folks, that is the only time that I will ever back a favourite is if it has been backed fairly and squarely into favouritism from a decent whack of money. And let's go back and have a look at that money for a second, shall we? $15,000. Nobody's been able to tell me what movie that was out of. Burt Reynolds, $1,000. Anyway, $15,000. You know, that's a massive whack of money. That's in 30 seconds, mind you, and that's a true update. There's no zero before that. We've got $6,250, and all of a sudden we've been banged in with $15,000. Amazing. Good work, Keith.
Okay, thanks, bud.
You are right, though. We didn't get on it.
Yeah.
Good on you, champ. Cheers, mate. All right, now, does anybody else have anything they would like to add before we wrap things up for the day? Just to let you all know as well, I don't know what boo-boo I made or what I did the other night, but only the audio was recorded from Thursday night. I've got a support request in with GoToWebinar service, and hopefully they'll sort it out for me, but I've done something different today. Maybe that's sort of fixed it, but anyway, I'll let you all know and keep you all posted. Thank you all so much for your time today, and I really appreciate it. I know that we're just going over covered ground sometimes, but I feel that it's necessary. That's the whole nature of these sessions. It's exactly why they're called Back to Basics. We are going to go over covered ground, but in saying that, it's the basics that a lot of people are missing out on at the moment or forgetting about it, and that's just, you know, that happens in anything, you know. I mean, I know mechanics that forget the basics sometimes because they've been in the mechanic industry for 50 years or whatever. We all do it. We all forget the basics, and it's the basics that build the good foundations for our ongoing success. All right, thank you all very much. I'm now going to end the webinar. If you do have any quick questions to ask, feel free to ask them in the group chat. I will activate that again now, or we'll go back off Do Not Disturb. Thanks again, everyone. Good on you. Bye.